Hi, kindergarten writers. Today we are still thinking about persuasive writing. Today we are going to think more about how we can reread and fix up our writing. We're going to think about some strategies that we can use to make our writing the best that it can be. Now, I remember back when we were in the classroom, we'd be working hard on our writing, and as soon as you were finished with your words, you'd raise your hand and say, I'm done. Now what do I do? Does anybody remember what your teacher would say when you would say, I'm done? Now what? When I'm done, I've just begun. There are so many things that you can do to fix up your writing, to make it better. Guess what, kindergartners? You don't need us. You don't need us to say, oh, you need to go back and reread, or you need to go back and add more details, or how about we fix up the picture? Add some speech bubbles. Make sure you have capital letters. You know how to do all those things. You don't need us right there telling you what to do. You are the boss. You get to be the boss of your own writing. Isn't that exciting? There's not a lot of things that we get to be the boss of, but you get to be the boss of your very own writing. You get to decide what will make your writing better. Not me, not mom or dad at home, not brother or sister. You get to be the boss of your own writing. That means you need to figure out what you can add to make your writing even better. So we need to ask ourselves some questions. First thing we need to do is reread our story. We need to think, does my writing make sense? Are there any parts of my story that I need to go back and fix so that it would make sense? The next thing we can ask ourselves is, do I have more that I want to say? What else could I talk about in this story? What is important? And number 3 says, what questions will my reader have? Remember, when we write for a purpose, and we write because we want to tell people something. So we have to think about who's going to be reading our stories and what else might they want to know. And then, is it spelled right? And this is one that a lot of us have been having questions about lately. So I want you to ask yourself those questions. Does my writing make sense? Do I have more to say? What questions will my reader have? And is it spelled right? Now, when we say, is it spelled right, that means, did you spell it the best that you could? Stretching it out and putting down the words that you hear. Because you get to decide what will make your writing better. Now, look at this anchor chart. At the top, it says, writers don't say, how do you spell the word cat? Not in kindergarten. Kindergartners are so smart and they're so good with their letters and their sounds that they can figure out these words all by themselves. So the first thing we can do is check the word wall. Guess what? I don't have a word wall at my house, but I do know a lot of the words that were on my word wall. My teacher might have already sent me a list of all the word wall words. Those are the words we know in a snap. And when we were writing in the classroom, we could quickly look up there and copy that word down. We can still do that. It also says to use the room. Well, I know that my room at home doesn't quite look the same as my room at school, but I do have a lot of words in my house, and I have books that I could use, or I have old stories that I could look at to remember how to spell things. And then this one here, it's really important. Stretch, listen, write. We're going to talk about that one more in just a second. Stretch those words out, listen for the sounds that we hear, and write them down. Remember those vowels. Every word has a vowel in it, at least one. So we're always going to remember those vowels, and then we're going to listen for little words. I might think about the word cat, but I might already know how to write the word at. Or if I look at this example, listen for the little words into. Well, I can write the word in and to, so I could write the word into. Now, I'm going to show you 2 strategies that you can use today practicing your spelling. You have word power. You can stretch words out like rubber bands. Do you know what a rubber band is? See, I have a rubber band right here, and it's really stretchy. It's kind of like when we do our roller coaster arm, spelling and sounding out our words in Letterland. K, a, t. It's kind of like stretching them out like a rubber band. So I have a picture of a basket. And if I'm thinking about the sounds that I hear in the word basket, I'm going to start with b, b, b. What letter am I going to write down? Yeah, a B. Then listen to the next sound. Basket, basket. I hear a. Annie apple. Bask, sk. I hear 2 sounds together. Sk, sk. Bask, S-K. Bask it. That's like one of those little words that I already know. Basket. Perfect. Let's try another one. Let's try the word special. Special. That's a tricky one, but I can write down the sounds that I hear. Special. Special. What are you hearing so far? Sp, sp. S-P. Good. Sp, I hear, who's that? Which letterline character says Eddie Elephant. Yep. Spe. S-P-E. Sh. Sh. I hear S-H. Remember Sammy Snake and Harry Hatman? Shh. Special. I hear the L sound. Special. Now when I write that down, if it doesn't look right, I can fix it. But I wrote down the sounds that I heard, and that's the most important part. We also have snap word power. We can stretch our words like rubber bands, and we can think about those snap words that we already know. We can read these words at, and, be, by, can, come in a snap. And when we can read those words, we probably can also spell those words. Now, this is an important one because you're not going to be raising your hand saying, I'm done, what do I do now? I'm going to remind you what you can do. When we are done, we've just begun. And here are the important things that we can do to make sure that our stories are the best that they can be. Reread. So important to go back and reread. Meet with our partner. Now, we don't have our reading partner at home with us right now, but we might have a brother or a sister that we could share our story with. We might have mom or dad available, and we could read our story to them and ask them for some ideas. I can always add more labels and more drawings. And then I can fix up those parts that are not easy to read. Sometimes there are parts in our story that just don't quite make sense, and it's important to fix those up. And then we want to be very, very convincing when we're doing our writing, so we need to tell more. Sometimes here, it's important to give an or else. That gives people an idea of how important something is. And then those speech bubbles, if you have people talking in your story, you want to make sure you have those speech bubbles there so we can know exactly who is saying what. Now, today, you are the boss, not me. I'm not the boss today. Your teacher's not the boss today. And even your parents are not the boss of your writing today. You are going to decide what you will do to make your writing better. Now, we know that you are amazing writers, and we can't wait to see what you come up with. So think about your stories, how you can make them even more convincing, how you can stretch out those words to hear maybe a few more sounds. Check for capital letters, punctuation, and make sure that your writing is the best that it could be. Have a great day, writers.